You mentioned kind of like how you determine if you can trust somebody, and I know you've said in the past kind of use Buffett's criteria for evaluating people, which is the combination of intelligence, energy, and integrity. What predictive signals do you pay attention to for each? How do you determine if you can trust someone? A large part of your
That's
job
the
is that,
hardest
right?
one. Yeah, integrity is the hardest one. And integrity usually comes out in two ways. One is long term, which is just you've known somebody for a while and you kind of know, how they think about things. But the more interesting one, there's a short term one, which is you just kind of see how they treat other people. So there are lots and lots of people who will, not screw over. Screw over is a strong word, but they will do something that is self-dealing or slightly unethical, relative to another business partner. But
Mm.
the whole time they'll say to you, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. I'm taking advantage of that person because they deserve it. But you're my friend. I would never do that to you.
Oh, of course they would.
And the thing is, yeah, exactly. It's very easy to change your definition of who friends are.
Yeah.
I find that the people who really do things out of integrity, they have an internal moral compass. So they don't do unfair, unethical, or bad deals with other people because it would soil their own view of themselves, and they wouldn't be able to sleep with themselves at night. So some of the highest integrity people I know, the worst thing you can do is you can say to them, "Well, I think you're self-dealing on that one," and they will get so unhappy because they'll be like, "No, no, 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 that's not who I am. I can't be that person," and they'll bend over backwards.
Yeah.
Usually, I find that people that I negotiate with who are high integrity, they're very easy to negotiate with. They'll give you things that they don't need to give you because they think it's fair, and vice versa. So negotiations with high integrity people are usually very easy. You're
Mm.
giving each other things to make sure the other person's happy enough that the deal survives, because unhappy deals get unwound and they become short-term relationships which don't have any compounding benefits. And then finally, if someone is going around and talking about how honest they are, they're probably dishonest. That's just like a little telltale indicator I've learned. When someone spends too much time talking about their own values or talking themselves up, they're covering for something. So there's actually a good book. It's kind of out of print. I think it's hard to track down. Maybe you can find it online somewhere. And it's not the obvious one. The name of the book is called The Art of Manipulation. And I found it because of a tweet that I followed from Illustratus. And it was really good. It was because this guy basically goes undercover and lives with con men. And he spends time with them running cons and learning all about cons. And he just very, without judgment, he just lays down how con men work. And he puts down there how to spot them when they're being dishonest. And some of the telltale signs are they'll push the deal a little bit too hard. They'll sell just a little bit too hard. They'll talk about how honest they are. But I have great people in my life who are extremely successful, very desirable, like everybody wants to be their friend, very smart. And yet I've seen them do one or two things that are slightly not great to other people. And the
Mm.
first time I'll tell them, I'll go up and I'll say, "Hey, look, I don't think you should do that to that other person. Not because you won't get away with it. You will get away with it, but because it'll hurt you in the end, not in some cosmic karma kind of way, but just I believe that deep down, we all know who we are.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot hide anything from yourself. And so your own failures are written within your psyche and they're obvious to you. And so if you have too many of these moral shortcomings, you will not respect yourself. And the worst outcome in this world is not having self-esteem. If you don't love yourself, who will? So I think that you just have to be very careful about doing things that you are fundamentally not going to be proud of because they will damage you. So the first time around, I warned them. By the way, nobody changes, right? And then I just kind of distanced myself from them. They just sort of, cut them out of my life. Like I just have this saying inside my head: the closer you want to get to me, the better your values have to be.
Oh, I
And for
like that a
example,
lot. Yeah.
when I met my wife, it was a great test because I really wanted to be with her. And she wasn't so sure at the beginning. And so in the end, we ended up together because she saw my values.
Mm.
And I'm lucky I had developed them by that point, because if I hadn't, I wouldn't have gotten her. Not that I own her or anything, there's no attachment like that, but I wouldn't have deserved her. It's like, as Charlie Munger says, to find a worthy mate, be worthy of a worthy mate. So I think working on your values is long-term selfish, although short-term it's absolutely involves sacrifices. If being ethical were profitable, everybody would do it, and we wouldn't
Yeah.
have to have a separate concept. We wouldn't even talk about it. There would be no books on it. There would be no one would ever talk about values because it'd be profitable. but it's not. It's obviously unprofitable. It involves sacrifices. But like everything in life, if you're willing to make the short-term sacrifice, you'll have the long-term benefit. My physical trainer, Jersey Gregorick, really wise, brilliant guy. He always says, easy choices, hard life, hard choices, easy life. So basically, if you're making the hard choices right now on what to eat, you're not eating all the junk food you want, and making the hard choice to work out, then your life long term will be easy. You won't be sick. You won't be unhealthy. Same is true of values. Same is true of saving up for a rainy day. Same is true of how you approach your relationships. But if you make the easy choices right now, your overall life will be a lot harder.
Person